siang Bapak dan Ibu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih atas partisipasinya di sesi kali ini, yaitu terkait pelatihan Pusat, yaitu Capital IQ dan juga Capital IQ Pro. Kami sampaikan kembali bahwa database Capital IQ dan IQ Pro ini sudah dilanggan oleh Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis sejak mulai bulan Juni 2024. Jadi semua mahasiswa bisa menggunakan akses Pusat ini melalui personal login dan juga dapat diakses secara unlimited di mana dan kapanpun untuk aksesnya. Jadi untuk disampaikan kembali bahwa email mahasiswa itu sudah kami kirimkan ke pihak SNP untuk didaftarkan untuk bisa mengakses Pusat ini. Bagi mahasiswa yang belum menerima welcoming email, nanti diminta untuk mengisi kembali G-form yang nanti akan kami sampaikan di kolom chat. Jadi untuk dipastikan kembali bahwa emailnya dicek, biasanya ada dimasuk di email spam ya. Kemudian untuk mahasiswa, mungkin mahasiswa 2024 yang baru itu masih dalam proses permintaan emailnya dari DSTI. Kemudian juga untuk terkait profil dari Pusat ini nanti bisa dilihat di link yang akan kami sampaikan di kolom chat. Untuk pelatihan hari ini nanti akan disampaikan oleh trainer, oleh FEB. Beliau merupakan Customer Success Manager dari S&P Global Market Intelligence. Selain itu juga di sini ada Pak Leo Kurniawan yang akan mendampingi kita selama pelatihan. Beliau adalah Business Development Manager Sustainability Solution Head of Indonesia Market dari S&P Global Market Intelligence. Kemudian untuk absensi kehadiran, kami akan menampilkan link untuk kehadiran. Nanti para mahasiswa mohon untuk mengisi absensi kehadiran. Kemudian juga untuk rekaman pelatihan nanti akan kami unggah di YouTube-nya PSB dan juga di websitenya PSB. Kemudian apabila ada pertanyaan ataupun hal lain yang akan ditanyakan, nanti bisa langsung resen aja atau bisa menulis di kolom chat. Nanti akan dibantu oleh Pak Leo, misalkan ada kendala terkait bahasa, boleh ataupun bahasa Inggris. Mungkin itu yang bisa kami sampaikan. Selanjutnya mungkin Bu Desi akan berikan pengantarnya, Bu. Silakan.
Ya. Baik, selamat siang ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih tim PSB, kemudian juga tim Capital IQ, Pak Leo, and maybe Miss Fatmok ya, who will deliver the training. Please allow me to deliver this message to our students in Bahasa Indonesia ya. Oke, teman-teman S2 dan S3, baik mahasiswa baru maupun mahasiswa yang setengah baru maupun mahasiswa lama ya. Semuanya terima kasih ya atas kehadirannya. Ini mahasiswa baru nggak apa-apa ya, walaupun belum mulai belajar. Senang juga kita melihatnya banyak mahasiswa baru yang hadir ya. Eh, Mungkin Mbak Silvi tolong di reminder lagi ya supaya mahasiswa baru juga dapat hadir ya. Dan juga mahasiswa yang lain. Nah ini terima kasih sekali kepada PSB dan juga tim Capital IQ, Pak Leo terutama ya, yang sudah memberikan kesempatan kepada mahasiswa kami untuk bisa menerima pelatihan hari ini, baik secara offline di salah satu ruang kelas kami ya, dan juga secara online ya. Saya sendiri ada di ruang PPIA, jadi saya membuka secara online, tapi sebetulnya masih di gedung PPIA juga ya. Nah, ini untuk pelatihan hari ini ya, kami harapkan dapat berguna buat mahasiswa dalam mencari data, terutama yang sedang menulis atau mempersiapkan tesis dan disertasi menggunakan data sekunder ya. Tadi berbincang-bincang dengan mahasiswa ya, ada beberapa yang minta kalau bisa data sustainability-nya juga dilanggan, tapi sayangnya mungkin belum bisa untuk saat ini ya. Jadi mudah-mudahan ini tidak menjadi halangan buat teman-teman yang mengambil topik riset sustainability ya. Nah, untuk Kompustat atau database yang baru kita langgan ini, insya Allah data-datanya cukup lengkap ya, terutama data finansial. Dan mohon nanti Pak Leo dan tim ya juga menjelaskan karena di PPIA ini kita ada juga beberapa mahasiswa itu yang melakukan analisis data untuk sustainability report ya, dan butuh mungkin apa ya, semacam analisis sentimen ya, walaupun tentang sustainability kabarnya tidak masuk dalam data yang kami langgan ya, tapi mungkin bisa dijelaskan juga tentang analisis untuk apa, menganalisis teks atau data ya yang menggunakan written communications ya atau oral communication. Saya lihat waktu itu ada ya di pelatihan untuk dosen tentang sentiment analysis ya. Jadi mungkin ini berguna juga buat mahasiswa. Kemudian juga kalau misalnya ada data tentang elemen-elemen corporate governance misalnya ya, itu juga banyak diambil oleh para mahasiswa kami ya. Jadi supaya bisa mendapatkan data-data juga selain data yang finansial, tetapi juga data-data terkait dengan tata kelola dan sustainability walaupun dalam limited meaning ya. Nah, ini untuk mahasiswa yang baru ya, mungkin bisa nanti belajar untuk bagaimana menggunakan data sekunder walaupun ini masih berupa awalan ya. Kemudian mahasiswa yang sedang menyelesaikan atau sedang mempersiapkan proposal mungkin bisa mendapatkan ide. Tentu saja kita mengharapkan bahwa penggunaan data sekunder ini memang di-drive dari research questions ya. Research questions mahasiswa ingin meneliti topik apa, kemudian eh, perlu menggunakan data dari database ya, walaupun mungkin secara pragmatis ya mungkin mahasiswa bisa melihat di database ada data apa kemudian baru di-create topiknya ya, tapi harap bisa menggunakan database ini secara bijak ya. Dan salah satu keuntungan yang lain dari Kompustat Capital IQ ini tadi sudah dijelaskan ya bahwa bisa diakses di mana saja sehingga mudah-mudahan tidak terjadi antrian yang panjang ya untuk menggunakan data, dan proses penyelesaian tesis dan disertasi dan juga tugas mata kuliah nanti ya yang perlu data itu bisa dilakukan dengan cepat dan mudah ya. Kemudian Pak Leo dan tim PSB maupun Capital IQ, kami mengharapkan nanti bisa ada pelatihan-pelatihan rutin mungkin ya, karena kalau cuma sekali ya mungkin terlupa juga ya caranya ya. Mungkin nanti bisa diadakan juga oleh PSB pelatihan rutin ya, sehingga mahasiswa bisa bebas mengikuti lagi kalau misalnya terlupa cara mencari data ya. Baik, itu saja dari saya ya. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada PSB, kemudian Capital IQ, Kompusnat, dan juga teman-teman yang hadir, baik secara online maupun offline. Mudah-mudahan pelatihan hari ini bermanfaat dan bisa diikuti dengan pelatihan-pelatihan selanjutnya. Oke, terima kasih. Many thanks. Eh, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oke, Fed, your time.
Let me just share my screen and let me know when you're able to see this. Okay, so I'm just on the Capital IQ platform. Are you able to see that?
Yes, all good.
Okay, great. So thank you everyone for your time. I'll be showing you the Capital IQ first, which includes the CompuStat financials, and then after that we will jump into CIQ Pro. So on Capital IQ, I'm just gonna run through some basic account settings first. This is where you can get a lot of public company information, company financials, and as Leo mentioned, you can do screener and so on as well. So to run through, to take a look at your account settings, just gonna run through this under my Capital IQ over here. This is also where you're able to get the download link later on when you want the Excel plugin. So firstly, I'm just going to go onto my settings page. This is where you can adjust, let's say, your account passwords, the financials in terms of the currency conversion and all those. You can take a look at this over here. How you want to, set the period. All this is customizable on your account settings page. The other one that I just want to highlight on the settings page is the time zone format. So under regional over here, you can just update if it's not already updated to Indonesia's time zone, and then you can adjust the reported currency. Later on, when you're in the individual company profiles, you can still adjust the currency. This is just what you have in your default settings if you've not made any changes on the individual company profiles. All right, so what we can see on individual company profiles wise, firstly, what you need to do is in the main search bar, you can type in the company name or company ticker. So just for today's example, I'm just gonna use this company over here. So I just entered in the ticker and selected the result. When you're clicking into any company result, the first page that you're able to see is the tear sheet. So it's an overview on the company's financial information. You'll see the latest news headlines, some qualitative data in terms of their business description, their company URL, and the industry that this belongs to. If you scroll down further, you'll be able to see some financial information and key developments. So key developments is what we track as market moving events. It's just showing you the latest 5 news and key developments. But if you want to get more information, you can find those on the left-hand side. Under news, events, and filings, there is a news and key developments page. But what I'm going to cover first is the financial section. So this is helpful if you're trying to do analysis on the historical financials. So there are 2 different types of financials over here. First one is under financials valuation. The second one is under CompuStat. And just to let you know, CompuStat financials is only available on Capital IQ at the moment. We don't have CompuStat financials on Capital IQ Pro. So back on this income statement page, anything that you see that is hyperlinked, it means you're able to kind of click through to audit the data points. So you can hover over the revenue, then click into this to see where this is coming from in the source file. So they will open up an additional window over here. So you can see where the revenue figure is coming from. Yeah, something like this. The page is just taking a while to load, but otherwise you can kind of skim through the rest of the document. Okay, something like this. Yep. So they've highlighted the revenue figure over here. So back on the financials page, if you needed to make changes, there is a more options button where you can adjust in terms of the currency, the units that they're using, or the period type. Mine currently is showing for annual financials, but if you wanted to see quarterly or any particular fiscal half, fiscal quarter, you can also select those in the drop-down bar. Okay. The key stats one over here, this will give you kind of a quick overview on the 3 financial statements. So it will also tend to show you some ratios or multiples data. So something like this. And then for CompuStat financials, you're able to find it in this section over here. CompuStat financials may not be available for all companies, but I would say if you want companies with longer historical background, especially for US-based companies, they will tend to have CompuStats financials available. For TLKM, we do have this, so you can click into those pages and explore that as well. The next thing that I want to show you is how you can find some comparable companies. So on the left-hand bar under peer analysis, this is some ways to find some comparable companies or comparable transactions as well. So I'm just going to click onto the quick comps page first. This is where I can see about 10 similar peer companies to TLKM based on a system-generated methodology. Later on, when I cover Screener, that's also another way that you can find comparables, so you can make more changes and set in your own criteria. But this quick comps page is just kind of a quick and easy way to see 10 other similar companies based on the industry, the analyst coverage, and some financial metrics. My page is just taking a couple moments to load, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to, drop a message in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself, and I'll be happy to address the questions along the way. Let me just try to re-click this over here.
Hi, Faith.
Hi, yes.
Yes, I'm Media. I'm sorry, I just missed the first part where you can show the left side of the tabs. How can I see that?
The first part is it the account settings or just the company
No,
profile?
this one.
Okay, so you have to search a company first. So you can search
Oh,
any company of your choice in the main search bar by their name or their ticker. And once you are already on a company profile, the left-hand side will be able to show you what information we have available. So the
okay.
information may differ also from companies to companies. So for instance, for certain companies you may not have all the information available. Maybe if they don't have any fixed income data, we will not be able to click through to this. And from private companies, there won't be charting or like market information. But yeah, once you are on the company profile, all of that is found on the left-hand side.
Okay, got it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Faith.
no worries. Okay, let me just try to open this up in a new tab and see if that's able to load up. While the peer comps is loading, let me try to navigate to some other pages that might be of interest. So the next thing that you can see on the company profile is also some of the historical transaction information. So you can find all of this under the M&A private placement over here. At the top is where you can customize in terms of the role type, transaction type, and history. And you can click into any of the transaction analysis to get more information about the particular deals. Other information that you can toggle is also you can see the available public offerings, advisors information. I can leave you to explore that in your own time. If you did need to see company filings information, be the corporate reports, annual reports, and so on, all of those are found under news, events, and filings. And you should see one for filings and annual reports. So this one over here, you can see the various form types that we have available, and you can filter this based on the filing date or the time frame. Mine is just showing for all history, but if you just want to see for the last year or so, you can do that as well. And you can click on any of the filing dates to get the actual document. And on the right-hand side, you can also choose how you want to download these, whether it be in Excel, Word, or PDF. So another page that I want to highlight is this key developments over here. So this key developments is what we call as market moving events. So you can see the various key development categories when you expand the top box over here. So you can see things like announced, completed transactions, listing related, potential red flag or distress indicators, or perhaps even something related to corporate communications. So you can explore those that you want to see, and then you can select the time frame. Right now it's just showing for the last 6 months, and then this is the list of key developments. So for example, let's take this private placement over here. When I click into the individual key development date, what it'll show me is like a brief summary, so I can see what happened in this particular development. If there are any other reference companies, they will also list, let's say, the buyer, target, or seller companies. And then when you scroll down further, if the transaction valuation are published already, you'll be able to see those, or it's just for you to understand who is involved in this particular deal. So something like this. If you want to see this for their subsidiaries or investment companies, you can also toggle that from this page. Okay, seems like my quick comps has now loaded up. So this is what I was referring to when I say the 10 similar companies. So these are what the system has generated by default. And the right-hand side is some columns that are also populated for all the quick comps. So it's just giving you a sensing on the latest market information and some financial metrics as well. This is just the financial data tab. If you want to see things like the multiples, operating stats, and all those, you can definitely explore those as well. This is just showing you some of the default columns on the Quick Comps page. If you wanted to adjust, like you want to add in more information, there is this add or edit display columns at the top. And if you want to save this over here, you can just create a comp set. So creating a concept would mean that it's essentially like a list of companies that you can reopen later on and you can revisit as well. while we are on saving of list of companies, another tool that might be helpful is the saving of watch list. So saving of watch list, if you want to open up the list of companies later on in Screener, or you just want to see all of your companies, your watch list, you can find this under My Capital IQ. There's a watch list all the way at the bottom, and there's a create button over here. So this is where they prompt you to enter in a watch list name first. And after you have done that, you can then add in companies into your list. So I'm just going to run a quick example using a couple of tickers. Yeah, something like this. So let's say these are the 3 companies that I want to monitor. What I'll then do is just click on add, and then the constituents should update once the watch list has been saved, and then it should reflect the 3 companies below. Yep, so something like this. So I can see the 3 companies over here. From my watch list, there is a tear sheet page that I can also take a look at. So the tear sheet is a bit like the company profile in the sense that it's giving me a quick idea on maybe what's the latest developments, news information, or financial information for all the companies within my watch list. So I can see that on this left-hand side. Otherwise, you can also go from My Capital IQ and click into watch list. So something like this. So these are some of the widgets that they have generated based on my watch list, some of the news headlines. Of course, you can also edit the watch list from this page. Let's say if you want to add in more companies, then you can go into that as well. Just want to take a pause here and see if there's any questions before I move on to Screener. Okay. For Screener, this is what we have as like a giant filter to look through our database. So you can screen for a couple of different things, including company, equities, fixed income, key developments, or even people and transaction data. So what I'm going to do now is just open up a basic company screen first. So this company screen will be a way for me to generate up other similar peer companies. Or if I have an existing watch list of companies and I just wanted to pull a couple of metrics, I can do that as well. So let me just show you that one first. So if I go under list management and I go into watch list, I can then add in, a specific company. Let's see if I can add in the one I've just created. So something like this, and I could toggle if I want to include their subsidiaries or investment companies, and I add it as a criteria. Oh, maybe the watch list didn't save earlier. Let me try a different one. Okay, sorry, I think my screen is just taking a while to load, but not to worry, you can still add the companies in manually as well. So let's say if I want to add in TLKM, well, let me add in, yeah. Something like this, and then maybe I'll add in their subsidiaries and investment companies. And once that's been added, I can see that I have now about 173 companies because it includes their investment and subsidiaries. And then what I can do from here, if I only want to look at these 173 companies, I'm not going to refine it any further. What I can do is then customize the display columns. So the display columns is showing me more information. In this case, because I don't really have anything added, so let's try to add in some business details. So maybe their business description, company status, their primary industry, and maybe the ownership status as well. And then if I want to see financial metrics, I can go under financial information and I can add in some key metrics. So for financial information wise, I can either look up the specific metrics I'm looking for, or I can look it up over here. Like maybe if I want market cap, I can type that in over here. But for this case, I'm also just going to show you how you can explore from the individual photos over here. So key financials gives you some of the key financial metrics. Right-hand side is where you can customize how you want to see this. So if you want this as of the latest annual period or last 12 months, or like, what's the time period that you're trying to see it for? So maybe I want for the last 3 years, I can add that in for total revenue. And then if I wanted to see maybe the total assets as well, then I can do that and add in the columns. If you wanted to adjust the currency from your default settings, then you can expand the currency option over here. But I'm just going to view the results so I can see all of the revenue and assets for my 173 companies. So something like this, because I've added quite a number of metrics, so the right-hand side is where, sorry, let me just move my zoom view around so I can adjust this. Yeah. So I can see over here some of the revenue or the assets column are filled up depending on what we have available. And then because this includes some private companies as well, that's why I may not show all of the information. So this is if I'm trying to use existing watch lists, this is how I'm able to see it. If I want to pull out comparables, what I can do is, let me try to just X out this over here. So if I want to build my list of comparable companies from scratch, I can add in my own criteria. So be it the industry. So let's say if I want things in infotech, and I want perhaps just public companies, I can specify that over here. And if the search is too broad, like it's not narrow enough, like it's pulling more than 1 million results, the screen will not be able to run, so you will need to refine it a bit further. So for geographic location, let's say I'm just setting this to Asia Pacific. And perhaps I just want those with the top 100 market cap. What I can do is click on market cap and select rank over here. And when I pull the absolute rank less than 101, it will pull me the top 100 companies based on market cap in Asia Pacific for the infotech sector. So when I click on view results, I should be able to see the 100 companies. And if I have specific companies in mind, I want to see if they're within the 100, I can click on where is my company over here. So let's say if I want to see if Tencent is within this, I can just do a quick search and they'll let me know like, oh, okay, in this case, it's not passing because it doesn't fall under infotech specifically. So that will help me see if I needed to adjust and tweak any of this criteria. And then from this page, if I'm happy with my results, I can toggle this and save it over here. So this is just like the watch list we did earlier on. Or I could also even export this into Excel and Word. Just want to take a pause and see if there's any questions on the company screen. Okay. If not, there are some pre-built screens that I can show you as well. So it might take some time to get used to, what sort of criteria you should include. So to help you, we do have this idea generation over here. So these are all of the pre-built screens that our screening team has already designed. They will already include some criteria, so you can still make customization from there. But it will just give you like a quick starting point. So maybe if you want to see all of the transaction screens, and you can click on the plus sign so you can see what does the screen consist of. So this one over here, for instance, is M&A with public companies in the last 3 years. So you can click into that and then just refine it further. You can add in industry, geography, or any other financial or market information that you want to see. But this is just like a helpful starting point. If you're not too sure what screens to add, you can find this under screening idea generation. Once you have saved your screens, you can access them under here. And if you have any saved templates as well, you can access them from this page. Just want to see if there are any questions at this point in time. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm gonna just move on to Capital IQ Pro. So you can access Capital IQ Pro from this right-hand side. There should be a S&P Capital IQ Pro. There's a link over here. And then you should be able to see that the page looks quite different from Capital IQ. It is a much more modern look on Capital IQ Pro, and we do have additional data sets. So things like more granular industry metrics, especially in energy, financial institutions, real estate, metals and mining, we will have exclusive data just on Capital IQ Pro. And if you are looking at private companies, we will have some private company data in terms of financials exclusive to just Capital IQ Pro. So just because we have a lot more information and data sets on Pro, just gonna run through the account settings in this case as well. So you can find this on the person icon, user profile, and display information. This over here will allow you to adjust the default tabs you see at the top of the page. So I have mine just set to cross-sector, and then of course you can definitely explore the sector level specialization as well. If you wanted to see those sector-specific information even on the cross-sector page, you are now able to edit the top navigation bar, so you can drag and drop, for example, TMT, metals and mining, and so on, and you can rearrange this according to your preference. Because we don't want to overwhelm you with the top navigation over here, it shows you a couple by default. Anything else that is not shown in the main tabs is just sitting under the more section over here. And on this user profile and display information page is also where you're able to adjust the currency, conversion, and time zone settings. So that's something that you just want to update later on. If you do have any alerts created in your account, will follow the default time zone that you have over here. In terms of appearance, you can also select a dark mode that's available on Capital IQ Pro. And if you make any changes, the save button is just on the top of the page. So I'm just going to show you the similar functions in terms of watch list, as well as alerts on Capital IQ Pro and how you can access that. So for Capital IQ Pro, the watch list function is under the folder icon, list, portfolios, and screens. And there is a create list or portfolio over here. So maybe I want to just save this as my August watch list for 2024. We click on done. And then this is where you add in the entities, or you can upload an Excel file. If you are uploading the file, it just needs to contain some sort of identifier, be it the ticker or CapIQ ID, so that our system can recognize it on the back end. So for now, I'm just going to add in some tickers to show you what that looks like. And once I've added that, again, the list contents will update from the bottom. And when that is saved, I can actually create an alert to get company level insights sent to like email address, even from the app or desktop. So alerts wise on Capital IQ Pro, you can find this on the bell icon or from this watch list page. From the bell icon, you can just click on create new alert, and under entity filter, this is where you can enter in your watch list name. So let's say if I want to use one of my existing watch lists over here. On the left-hand side, I can customize the alert name, the alert delivery. So for email alerts, we can actually adjust the alert frequency. If I don't want this to come in real time, I can schedule this at a specific day and time. So maybe if I want them to be sent on Fridays at 8 a.m., I can set this over here. So this follows the default time zone settings. The other two alert deliveries on Capital IQ Pro is the mobile push notification. So you do need the Cap IQ Pro mobile app, or desktop alerts. Desktop alerts just means that it's showing up on this right-hand panel over here. And in terms of alert triggers, I'll just run through the popular ones that clients typically look at. So the first one is the news and industry research. I didn't really go through news on Capital IQ just because I feel that the news data sets on Capital IQ Pro is a lot more robust. So you will be able to get more hits or more information on Capital IQ Pro on the news site. So you can see the 3 different news sources we have over here. First one is our own market intelligence news team. You can explore in terms of keywords and topics. Second one is Dow Jones News, which includes Wall Street Journal as well. And the last one we recently integrated is Nikkei News, so coming from the Nikkei or Nikkei Asia. Some other alert triggers that you can select is when companies have published certain filings, if they have any upcoming calls, conferences, things like that, you can also opt for those as well. Key developments, this is again the market moving events of the companies. If there are specific types of developments you want to see, let's say like M&A deals, you can also do a quick search over here and select all of those that are M&A related. If you are tracking a mix or at least mostly public entities, under market data, you can specify a certain price change or target price change as well. So it's something that recently included on Capital IQ Pro. And if you're happy with all of the alerts, you can then save the alert at the top. After you have set up your alerts, you can actually take a look at the Manage Alerts page. It just shows you at a glance which of your alerts are currently set up, what are the alert triggers or entities that you have selected. So just like a quick way to see that over here. And while I am on this page, I just want to show you the subscription center over here. So these are daily email newsletters. They are a bit more region specific. So there is one in APAC morning and APAC evening IQ as well. So the morning IQ sends before the market opens. It sends quite early because it's before the Australian market. And the evening IQ would typically send about 5:30 your time. So that would be, because that's again after the Australian market has closed. It kind of gives you a glimpse on what was some trending news headlines. It could be transaction related. The morning IQ, if there's any latest updates in the US market, they may affect the APAC side. They will also include that in the morning IQ email newsletter. So it's something that you can decide whether you want to subscribe to. So the next thing I want to show you would be Screener on Capital IQ Pro. Actually, let me go into dashboard first. Sorry about that. So the dashboard page is what you see whenever you log into Capital IQ Pro. It is visually very different. The dashboard is a lot more dynamic on Capital IQ Pro. You can see some flashing data in terms of companies that are trading at the moment. This is customizable, so you might see different information what I have because there is an add widget drop-down bar for you to specify what you're trying to monitor, be it like a list of companies, heat map, or what I have on the right-hand side is like the newswire widget. So it's getting me the latest news insights. If I want to adjust any of the individual widgets, I can always click onto the gear icon. So in this case, when I click into the gear icon, I can adjust the type of content, the date range, as well as the industry and geography. And certain widgets like the newswire widget and the charting widget, there is this little flashing broadcast icon, which just means that it's giving me company-specific content. So right now it's showing me for DBS. If I were to click on, let's say, BYD's ticker, it should then update and give me BYD-specific content instead. If you don't want that to be, kind of changing depending on the ticker you've selected, you can just toggle it off. And then it would just keep the static news information according to what you have in your filters. From the dashboard page, you can not just see company level insights, but if you want to monitor, let's say, deal trends over time, there are transaction statistics widget that you can add as well. So under add widget, you can select the type of deal that you're interested in, and then what it shows you. So I have an example here for M&A. What it shows you is the deals over time in terms of the aggregated count and transaction value. And then of course, you can also toggle to see the transaction listing. So the listing one would be the individual recently announced deal. So you can scroll to see transaction ID, the target company, buyer, and seller as well. I'm gonna move on to the company profile on the Capital IQ page. If anyone has any specific questions, feel free to let me know. So in the main search bar on Capital IQ Pro, the search here, you notice that there are options for you to toggle through, unlike CIQ. So you can look through the company section if you're trying to pull company profiles, and you can toggle whether it's a public or private companies even. And you can also easily pull out some fixed income, equities, rates and yields, or even people data. And what I've recently included is the ability to pull up quick results. So if let's say you're trying to see like the revenue of a certain company, I could type in the ticker and then I could type in revenue and it gives me the latest revenue. But if I want a specific year, like let's say 2022, I can do the search as well and they're able to quickly pull up the result over here. But otherwise, if I just want to go into the company profile, the name, the ticker, or the company URL will work as well. So let's take TLKM over here again. And it shows me the corporate profile. Something additional that you'll see in terms of the qualitative data on Capital IQ Pro is this thing known as topic tag. So this topic tag is something we've assigned to certain company profiles. It depends on what they're involved in or what they're perhaps like venturing into as well. We've added this because just looking at a company's industry sometimes is quite broad. We had a lot of client feedback that just looking at integrated telecom, there might be a lot of companies within this space. So we've added these more niche or more like trending and up and coming areas like 5G, cloud management, network backbone, and so on. So you can click into any of these to get other similar 5G companies, for example. So I'm just going to open up that page. And it will show me some of the recently announced deals for 5G companies as well. So this topic tags is something that is not really available on CIQ, it's just something exclusive to Capital IQ Pro. Okay, I'm gonna leave that to load. Okay, looks like it's loaded up. Yeah, so at the top, you can filter this by the company's operating status or geography. I just have this set to operating subsidiary for APAC. But of course, you can broaden that as well, so you can get more results. And then what it shows you, first of all, is the deals over time. Then over here, you have the individual table, so you can explore the individual transactions. It also does gives you a list of public and private 5G companies. So this might be helpful if you're trying to find some listed comparables for companies that you are monitoring. This is where you can find those. And if you are monitoring, let's say the 5G space or any of the topic tags, which you can go and explore from here as well, you can scroll down further and it's able to show you the latest events, key developments, news, and transcripts for 5G companies. And while I am on this page, something I want to show you is also this transaction statistics page. So this one over here, again, is similar to the dashboard widget where it shows me the deal trends over time. But here it's I'm able to easily export this out into Excel. And I feel that if you are wanting to export this, this gives me a much better view. You can also toggle if they're looking at specific topic tags and whether or not you want to include certain private equity deals. And of course, the region and industry is adjustable as well. And it shows me the data table and the detailed transaction listing. So moving back into the company profile, I'm just going to show you the difference in terms of the financials. For financials on Pro, I would say the layout is largely the same, but now we have the ability to pin certain pages. So let's say if you're always going to look at the income statement or the balance sheet, you can actually pin it so it's just showing at the top, so you can easily assess this without having to like always expand and try to find the exact page you're on. So yeah, so right now I'm just on the financials highlight page. You can click through this to audit the data points. And it should show you where in the filings this is coming from. And I'm just going to show you the difference because there is this document viewer on Capital IQ Pro where you're able to easily sift through the annual reports or the filings using our index search as well as our export data function. So in this particular case, I've clicked on the cash and cash equivalents, and they should redirect me to show me where in the filings this is coming from. So it looks like there are a couple of mentions of this. So let me try to click through to find one with a table value. Sorry about this, my connection is just a little bit slow today. If it's not able to load up on my end, you can feel free to try it in your own time. I don't want to spend too much time if it's giving me some technical issues. Let me just try this. Oh, okay. Okay, looks like it's cooperating now. Okay, great. Yeah, so you can see over here, it has highlighted the cash and cash equivalents figure. And because this source document is a 20F filing and is a machine readable file, when I hover over the table, there is this export data that pops up. So this means that it's allowing me to export this entire table of values into Excel. So it will follow the formatting that I have over here. Okay, so let me just reshare my screen. Ownership-wise, if you are on a company profile, the left-hand side, there is an ownership section that you can explore. First, I'm going to show you the summary page, so that one gives me a good overview on the types of owners for this particular company. I can see the various owners type, but if I want to drill down to see the individual owners, I'll suggest that you can take a look at the detail page. So this one over here, I can actually adjust the filter on the top of the page. I can see certain changes in position, be it increase or decrease. And this one over here tends to show me more on a quarterly basis. But if I want to see the trend over time, I'll show that in a little bit. There is a way to see this on our investor screening tool. But this here gives me a good overview on specific quarters, who are the main owners. And if I'm interested in the specific owners, let's say if I want to see BlackRock's holdings in this company, if I click into the history column, they will actually show me in bar graph form how this ownership has changed over time. And if I want to extract this, I can also export this into Excel or Word as a data. It includes the chart as well as this table below. So this shows me the quarterly ownership information. For, let's say if you want to see this for a couple of companies, what I will suggest is to use our investor screening over here. So under screening, investor data, investor screening, this one over here. Let me just try to open this in a new tab. I like this just because I can see the change in ownerships for a list of companies. So if you have an existing list, you can use a saved list, or else you can manually create a list of companies from here. Let me just use a saved list just for simplicity's sake. So let me use this Berkshire Hathaway top holdings, and then you can specify the as of date. So if I want to see this for maybe the last, from 2023, from Q1 2023, and I can specify the types of earners that I'm looking for as well. Maybe I want to see the institutions. I can specify investment firm type as well. Okay, let's take institutions and funds, and maybe I want to select all, and I can select the geography as well. Not going to select anything in this case, and I'm just going to skip and run the screen. So then what the results will show me, I can see this both in terms of aggregate, so and for my entire list, my entire watch list of companies, how their holdings have changed over time, or I could see this based on company. So if I'm viewing it based on company, I can see how certain holders have either increased or decreased their positions. So let's say Apple over here is the first one, so I can see how Vanguard Group, for instance, let me just bit to the right. So how Vanguard Group, for instance, has changed in their ownership of Apple over time. I can see there seems to be an upward trend. Or for certain companies, that if there's a downward trend, I can explore to see why that is so as well. If this is the information that you are happy with, then there is an export data option over here, so you can extract this table into Excel. And of course, it's not just Apple that you can see this for. It just is for all of the companies within my watch list. It just shows across the different columns over here. And if I'm interested in the individual holders, I can click into that and they will show me for Vanguard specifically. Yeah, so this is what you can see in terms of the ownership trend over time for a group of companies or for a singular company. Yeah, so something like this. And then over here, it says Vanguard's profile, and you can see the companies that they do hold positions in for the 30th of June at the moment. But of course, you can specify the date as well. This is from 2014, yeah. And if you needed to trace this to the source documents, there is a source column over here. So it's typically the .NF filings. Yeah. When you are on the individual company profile, so let's say if you're on Vanguard's profile, you can find this on the left-hand side by going under Investments, Public Holdings, and it is on the Public Holdings detail page. Something I just want to show you since we are on a corporate profile. Let me just take Apple as an example. So now that I'm on Apple's profile, just something I want to show you is this peer comms page. So this is where it's a bit similar to the quick comms on CIQ, but I will say that peer comms is a little bit better in terms of transparency. So I can see how the peer companies are derived. And if I want to make changes to the methodology, I can actually do that and change the weightage or add in other criteria that I find more relevant. So over here, I can expand criteria. Then there will be a peer score criteria section. So let me just, okay, while the peer score criteria is loading up. Yep, so over here, when I click into peer score criteria, this is like kind of like a default criteria that has been added for public companies. But if I want to add in other things, if I want to adjust the weightage of the individual criterion, let's say if I think revenue is critical, I can just adjust that up to 3. Or if there are other criteria that I find helpful in determining the peers, I could also add them or X out those that I find less relevant. And then what I can do is just apply those changes and the system will calculate out a peer score over here. So this peer score is based on standard deviation. So it's how far the peer companies are from our base company Apple based on the peer score criteria that you have defined earlier on. So if you, basically what it means is the lower the score, the more similar it is to our base company based on your specified peer score criteria. And display columns wise, this one would look a little bit similar to what we have on CIQ in terms of being able to see the latest market information, multiples, and so on. And you can export this into Excel. I'll show you later on how you can get the Excel plugin on Capital IQ Pro. But in terms of export options, there is a table function, which I'm going to show you in Excel what that looks like. So the table function is something like this. There is a cell known as SPG table that links all of the rows and columns. Okay, so this keeps the file very dynamic. If I want to rerun the file later on, let's say I want to see the latest market information, I don't always have to go into the platform. I can directly just open up this file that I've saved, and it's able to run and refresh to pull me the latest market information. So that would depend on the metric that you have pulled or the date that you have specified. So because I'm not specifying a specific date or specific period, it would then always give me the latest information. So this is for table function. And if I want to add in more companies, I can just drag and drop this. If I want to add more metrics, I can also just add in another column. But going back into the platform, so that was table function. The second one is values. Values is the static numbers. So it's more like a point in time data. It's kind of taking a snapshot of what I see on the platform today. The values will not be dynamic, so you're not able to run and refresh any formulas. It's just the static numbers, just like what I see on the platform at the moment. And if you are happy with this list of companies, you can also toggle this and save it just like your watch list. Or if you want to add in or remove certain companies, you can also make those changes before you save it into your watch list. Okay. Another page that I want to show you, since you do look a bit at our ownership information, is our corporate structure as well. This one is helpful if you're trying to monitor, let's say, their subsidiaries or their holding companies. You want to take a look at this corporate structure over here. At the top is when you can adjust the relationship type, whether or not it's a majority, minority investments, or you can even specify where you want the company to be and the industry that they are in as well. And then once you've applied that, you're able to see some of their holding and subsidiary companies. You can also see the type of relationship they have. And if you're interested in any of these, you can just click onto the company names. It will just redirect you to those company profiles. If any of you are doing, let's say, like research on the company's board information or key professionals, the people summary might be helpful. So this one over here gives me key professionals and board information. I can set the filter at the top whether I want this for the current board members or if I want them to include the prior board members as well. And then it gives me a good overview in terms of showing me the executives' names, brief biography on what they do. And I can click into their various names as well to get more information, let's say, in like what other boards they sit on. So let's take this example over here. I can, clicking into that will give me this professional summary. So it gives me their biography, their education, professional functions, if those are known, and their board membership. So you can see where their current board members at, where their prior board members at as well. And if the compensation information is disclosed, you'll be able to see that on the professional summary page. And in terms of finding professionals information, even in the main search bar, like earlier we did the quick revenue search, right? You can actually also search up professional information. Sorry, let me just connect my charger. Okay, so for professionals information, so let's say if you're trying to find CEO of certain companies, you can just type in CEO and then you put in the ticker. So let's say if I'm trying to find the CEO of NVIDIA, I can type that in and it's able to give me the result directly. Yep, so that might be a quick way if you're just trying to get some quick results in the main search bar. I'm just gonna take a pause here and see if there's any questions or anything else specific that you want me to cover. Let's say in fixed income or bond information. We did recently expand the bond coverage, so we do have more fixed income available. If that's something you want to go through, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, what I can show you is a quick overview on what we have in the ESG space. Okay, so I can quickly take you through some of the sustainability data that we have. I believe this is not something that you guys currently subscribe to, but I understand there is quite a bit of interest in the ESG data. So just going to use Apple as my example over here, and I'm just on the sustainability overview. I believe you can see this overview, but not the detailed ESG pages. So the overview page is just kind of giving me a sensing on how the company is performing compared to their industry averages for certain ESG metrics. So I can see this for E, S, and G factors, how closely they comply to those regulations or standards as well. Another page I just want to show you is this ESG scores over here. So this is really our own in-house scoring methodology that's been applied. So this is based on either publicly disclose information, or either also if the company answers this questionnaire known as the corporate sustainability assessment. So for Apple's case, this is using a public assessment. So the information provided by public assessment would really just be from their reports, their ESG reports, corporate governance reports, and so on. But if they are a survey respondent, they may be, they may be able to disclose more information and provide supporting documents for what is required within the CSA questionnaires. And then what you're able to see on this ESG scores page is really a sensing on how they are performing. You can see that there are different weightage applied to E, S, and G. It really depends on the sector that they are in. So for Apple's case, it's in the computers, peripherals, and office electronics. So the highest weightage is applied to governance. But if you're looking at maybe like an energy company, there could be higher weightage applied to the environmental factor. And then some other things that you're able to see over here is really just a breakdown on the individual scores. You can see how the company has performed in specific questions or specific factors. So you can see if there are areas that they have really done well and they have good disclosure in, or there are other areas that have room for improvement. I can click into those to get more insights when you have the ESG subscription. But this is really just another way of analyzing companies instead of just looking at the company financials. I think qualitative metrics and ESG methodology is definitely something that more and more people are looking at. So that's why we have integrated these ESG scores just as a good way to benchmark, to get a sensing on how they're performing. Yeah. And this is also really based on what they've disclosed in terms of their operations, their environmental output and things like that. Those are all considered when you're coming up with these ESG scores. Just gonna take a pause here and see if there are any questions. Leo, feel free to let me know if there's any questions in the chat that I've not covered yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Faith, I guess most of the questions remaining in chats is related to Excel plugin, and I believe that will be covered by you, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Thanks, Leo. Yeah. So for the Excel plugin, first I'll show you how you can get access to the Excel plugin. And there are two different types of Excel plugin as well. One is the Capital IQ Pro and one is the Capital IQ. For Capital IQ Pro, we can find this under the More drop-down bar, under links, and the very first link, S&P Capital IQ Pro Office. So this is the file for the Capital IQ Pro plugin. When you have this installed in Excel, you should be able to see this in the Excel toolbar saying S&P Cap IQ Pro. And for the Cap IQ version, is this S&P Capital IQ. I'll show you later on how you can get access to that. But just gonna move quickly to the template library. So that is also under the More section. Let me just close this out. Yep, so the template library is also found under the More section, under links, and then the second one, Excel template library. So these are like pre-built Excel templates that we have. So some of the commonly used templates are like the comms template, or if you just need like resource guides, there are some resource guides as well in the template library. So it gives you a brief description on what each of this consists of, and you can click on the template name once you have the plugin installed. They will have their own set of instructions, so be it like the name or the ticker that you need to run those. It's quite easy and easy to run and refresh those.
Sorry, Faith, to stop you there.
Yes.
Is there any pre-built template for ownership?
Yes, there is. Give me one moment. Let me just search. I believe there's a public ownership. Yes, there's a public ownership one over here. So it shows current historical owners for a single company. And there's also a heat map showing you like the top buyers and sellers for that particular company and any trend or summary charts. So this public ownership one might be helpful if you're trying to analyze the ownership changes for a specific company. And when you have the plugin installed, you can also access the same template library under the template section. So when you have the plugin installed, you can go under S&P Cap IQ Pro and click on templates over here. It will open up the same pop-up window, just like what we saw on the platform. It is the same set of template libraries, just if you already have the plugin installed, this might be easier than going into the platform. And there is this template, which I can send across later on. So this is like a frequent formula guide. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So this frequent formula guide will show me a couple of things. The first one is the basic formula structure. So how you can tell if it's a CapIQ Pro formula is that it will start with equals SPG, and then you can reference the ticker, identifier, the metric, and the period. If you're using CIQ formulas, it will start with equals CIQ. Okay, and with the Pro plugin, you can still run and refresh any CIQ formula, so it is backwards compatible. But with just the CIQ plugin, you can't run and refresh CIQ Pro formulas. So I leave it up to you in terms of which you prefer to install. But I will say that the Pro plugin is definitely, it has more data that you can capture in terms of just running the CIQ formulas, or you can even directly run Screener in the Excel plugin with the Pro. Yeah, so I can send this across. This includes some of the commonly used metrics, formula syntax, and how you can reference those data points. It's already grouped based on the type of formulas they are, so market data, fundamentals, and so on. Yeah, so you don't have to build the formulas from scratch. I would say you can always leverage on our formula builder over here. So let me just open up a blank sheet. Using the formula builder in Excel, they will let me know what are the inputs that I need. So it's easier for me to build those formulas. I don't really need to memorize exactly, equals SPG or what. I can use this formula builder. They'll guide me in terms of, what I need to include. So let's say I don't have the identifier yet. I want to search that up. So I can just type in the company name and I just enter it under identifier. And they should give me like a pop-up window for that. Give me one moment. Let me just, okay, sorry. Under identifier lookup, this is where I can pull up the identifier first. And okay, I'm gonna let the identifier load up in the background. There is this identifier converter template as well. So this is helpful if you don't have the list of CapIQ ID or tickers. You can simply paste in the company names and the template will run and refresh to pull me the tickers accordingly. So let's say if I want to run this using identifier lookup. So let's say I'll just search this over here. I can select the company name and then I can apply. And that should be populating in my cell. Sorry, let me just try to reopen that. Yeah. So let's say let's apply that. So I now have my ticker over here. And from here, because I already have my identifier in a cell, I can reference the cell over here. So I'm referencing A1. And in the formula builder, let me just expand this a little bit. Under data items, I would suggest that this is a great way to pull in the information so you can look up the metric of what you're trying to pull. So let's say if I want to pull up the company name, you can just search it up over here. But when you're more familiar, you can kind of click through this from the fields. So let me just, sorry, I think the cell is not properly linked. Okay, so once you have the cell and the metric, you're able to add the formula and you can add in multiple things at once. So let's say if now I want to pull revenue, I can search that up. I can specify, which particular year I'm trying to pull it for. If I'm trying to pull a range of values, I can also specify that. But otherwise, for now, maybe I'll just add in for 2 years, just like this. And if you want to adjust the currency conversion and all those, is under the advanced options. Otherwise, if you're not specifying it, it's just going to show based on your account default settings. And you can select the output location. In this case, I'm happy with A2. So I'm just going to apply that and it should then refresh and give me the values. Yeah. So now I can see that these are the revenue for those periods. I can close it closed this out already. If you're pulling financial metrics, so like revenue in this case, you can actually click on this audit data over here. So that allows me to trace the values. Just like what I saw on the platform, I can trace this back into the original source document, so the filings and reports. So those are only available for financial metrics. For market data, unfortunately, I'm not really able to do that linking because of the nature of the data item as well. So I can see something like this, and I can click through to get those documents. Yeah. If you're interested to run Screener, when you click into this, it's really just like what we saw on the platform. The same set of screening criteria are also available in the Excel Screener option. Yep, just gonna take a pause here to see if there's any questions on Excel before I cover how we can contact our client support team. Okay, if there are no questions, let me show you in terms of resources, where you can get some of the FAQs and so on. So on the CapIQ Pro platform, there is this question mark icon. This is our 24/7 client support team. CapIQ Pro Academy, these are short tutorial videos. So this would be helpful if you are trying to really understand how to better utilize the platform. That might be very helpful. There's like a video on Screener, there's a video on alerts, and upon completion of all of the videos, there is like a quiz that you can complete. And when you pass the quiz, it's something you can add into your LinkedIn profile. The Help Center is essentially like a question bank. So you can look at some of the frequently asked questions from the Help Center. And if you needed to navigate to the CapIQ platform from the CapIQ Pro, it's under more links, and then there's an external link here for S&P Capital IQ. So that will help you redirect back into Capital IQ, especially if you need to see the Pusat financials. Yeah, just want to see if there are any last questions before I conclude the call.
Oke, apakah ada pertanyaan tambahan dari teman-teman lainnya yang bisa kami bantu jawab? Oke, kalau misalkan sudah nggak ada, mungkin trainingnya kami cukup sampai di sini. Kalau misalkan ada pertanyaan tambahan lainnya, silakan langsung dikirimkan pertanyaan tersebut melalui client support yang sudah ditunjukkan V tadi ya. Ada 3 channel. Channel pertama melalui email, channel kedua itu melalui live chat agent, channel ketiga itu melalui telepon ya. Dan semua kontak yang terkait itu bisa dicari ya informasinya itu melalui question mark icon ya yang ada di sebelah kanan atas dari platform terkait. Oke, kalau misalkan sudah ada pertanyaan, mungkin Pak Dindin, saya persilakan untuk closing remark.
Ya, baik Pak Leo sama FEB, terima kasih atas penjelasannya. Karena tidak ada pertanyaan lagi, Pak Leo, mungkin cukup sekian untuk pelatihan hari ini. Mungkin ditunggu lagi nanti tanggal 4 ya Pak Leo ya. 4 September ada lagi.
Siap, siap.
Baik. Baik, kalau begitu Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, untuk pelatihan hari ini cukup selesai. Terima kasih atas kerjasamanya untuk joinnya. Nanti saya ingatkan kembali bahwa rekamannya nanti akan ditampilkan di YouTube-nya PSB dan juga di websitenya PSB. Baik, demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan. Terima kasih semuanya. Selamat sore. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Leo.
Terima kasih semuanya. Yuk.